And we're live. All right, I'm 2 minutes late, but it's much better on time statistics than usually because usually the 10 a.m. Monday live is 10 p.m. Tuesday or 6 p.m. Monday night or maybe noon, maybe 1. It's anywhere in between. So luckily, we've been staying relatively close to 10 a.m. despite a lot of circumstances popping up in the way, but circumstances don't matter. Circumstances are our bitch, right? Nothing is going to dissuade us from having the life of our dreams, accomplishing any goals we have, or anything. Everything is always working out in our favor, right? Let's see. While we're waiting for people to come in, I will answer text messages. I want to pull up some questions and stuff we have in the chat. Actually, no. You know what? I don't think there's any questions in the comments. And also, oh wait, no, people are here now. Okay, cool. Yeah, usually, I wait a little bit for everyone to come in, but we got 2 people here. Welcome in, guys. Happy Monday. Time to go and achieve the life of our dreams. This morning, I was reading Neville Goddard, so we will cover some of the things I read there and go over some goals I have in my life because what are we here? We're all in this together, so whatever you got to say, whatever goals you're working on, I want to hear them, and I want to see them happen and come into fruition. Whatever 3D action needs to be taken will be taken. Whatever manifesting action needs to be taken, or techniques need to be used, they will. And we trust in God that it all unfolds properly because it does always work out in our favor. Whoa. Is it Mr. Big Stuff? Yes, it's me, Mr. Big Man. The King of the Pirates is here. Captain Barbossa, that's me. I once ran for Pirate King and it never happened. But the real king of the pirates is down there. I see him. I see you now, big man. I toast you with this, and we will get together soon. We will hang out. Now, let us read. I'm only going with the reading right now because we need a jumping off point. But this is something I had highlighted in the book. There's a star on the page. It's the first chapter of this particular book, I believe, that Neville has. And it's so much so that it's crisp onto the page. That's how important this lesson is that I wanted to discuss. Because I went through it a lot of times. Here we go. Chapter 24. No, I'm incorrect. It is the first page of chapter 24 in The Power of Awareness. And I have a lot of highlighting done in here, as you see. But I want to discuss failure when it comes to manifestation. Because so many times, I failed, I fucked up. But like I said, you can't fuck this up. And I don't ever believe it's a failure. I believe that either enough time hasn't unfolded, you weren't disciplined enough on whatever you were working on, or you just didn't look for the positive in the negative, because the bridge is always unfolding. What path you choose to put your focus and attention on is what will unfold more of. And then I've got a couple other things in his very first book that I want to talk about. But he starts out, this book would not be complete without some discussion of failure and the attempted use of the law of assumption. It is entirely possible that you either have or will have a number of failures in this respect, many of them really important matters. And before we even continue, this is true. I know many of you have failed using the law. I myself have failed using the law. Neville has self-admittedly failed using the law. And he talks about why. Like he said, a book would not be complete without failure. But don't look at failures. Because remember, at the end of the day, you can't fuck this up. If the bridge is always unfolding, more opportunities show up. I have never seen an opportunity where you cannot redo it. You do not get a second chance. There's always a second chance. Good morning, Shorty. How you doing today? We're reading a little bit of Neville, starting out with the chapter on failure, just because I want to show people there is no such thing as failure. Even in failure, you have an opportunity to succeed. If, having read this book, having a thorough knowledge of the law of the application, and working working of the law of assumption. Sorry, as Lily knows, she reads the Bible with me and some Neville stuff. My reading is not always perfect. You faithfully apply. So after knowing the law of assumption, you faithfully apply it in an effort to attain some intense desire and fail. What is the reason? If the question, did you persist enough, can be answered yes, and still attainment of your desire was not realized, what is the reason for failure? The answer to this, the most important factor in the successful use of the law of assumption, the time it takes your assumption to become fact, your desire to be fulfilled, is directly proportionate to the naturalness of the feeling of you already being what you want to be and already having what you desire. The fact that it does not feel natural to you, this is why I got to highlight. The fact that it does not feel natural to you to be what you imagine for yourself is the secret to your failure. So these techniques, once again, it's the techniques that we're doing. We're applying the law, we're visualizing, we're focusing, we're grateful, all this stuff. But are you feeling it natural? There's eventually the techniques are supposed to become so boring so much that they fall off and disappear and you don't need them anymore. Then it becomes so natural, it should show up. That's why we're doing that. And, not enough time, like I said, and you don't feel it natural, like he says. And did you persist enough, or did you apply the law? Some people don't even apply it. They watch videos on it and say, where's my desire? Well, you didn't do it. Like, I can know everything about going to the gym, but never set foot in the gym. I will not make any results. You can know everything about the law of assumption and never step foot in there's no meditation rule. Sit down and meditate, visualize, pray, receive, whatever technique you like, script it. It will never happen unless you apply it. Let's see. I'm starting to gain confidence with manifesting SP. There you go, Shorty. So see, it needs to become a natural feeling. You need to be patient. You need to persist. You need to know that it's already done. And it's going to piggyback off something he said in his first book, too, I want to talk about. Regardless of your desire, regardless of how faithfully and intelligently you follow the law, if you do not feel natural about what you want to be, you will not be it. If it does not feel natural to you to get a better job, you will not get a better job. The whole principle is vividly expressed in the Bible phrase, you die in your sins. You do not transcend from your present level of the state desired. How can this feeling of naturalness be achieved? The secret lies in one word, imagination. And there's so many things. Even in the Bible, it talks about imagination. When you're reading the Bible, they talk about they're taking their prayers to sleep. They're going to sleep feeling a certain way. It was in the Psalms talking about King David, like everything was falling apart in his life, but he was going to sleep relaxed. So your state of being before sleep, when you wake up, using your imagination, they talk about that. And Neville takes all his stuff from the Bible. I take my learning from Neville, and then I check the Bible like he said to do, and boom, it's there too. And then I applied it by principle, and it's there too. So I'm telling you, here's the secrets to the failures. Can you describe the difference between giving up versus letting go or surrendering on your SP journey? Feels natural that I should start considering other people in almost 2 months. What did you do? Stan, I'm going to, let me see, I'll answer that in a second. I'll answer that in 1 second. Because I'm trying to do the Q&A and I'm trying to read these things, but I want the questions too. But anyway, that's about all I got highlighted, because down here it's like I don't have much highlighted, but this is very important. This first page and a page and a bit of The Power of Awareness, chapter 24, is very important. I just sent Lily one of these things too and I sent them to a client as well. About gratitude. We'll get back to that. I'm going to answer that question right now. No worries. Do your thing. Gary, what's up, my brother? Glad we got to catch up the other day. Good to hear from you. Okay, can I describe the difference between giving up, letting go, and surrendering in the SP journey? So there's multiple things. There's people who've been waiting years to manifest their SP, which I don't believe that you need to wait years, like we just said. I mean, the chapter, Stan, we were just talking about failure right there, right, with the whole Neville thing. The question is, you're trying to manifest something. If the law, like in the proper use of the law, are you feeling your desire natural, or is there still heavy resistance on it? You're doing the visualizing, you're doing the techniques, but the reason for doing these techniques is to create a feeling. If you are not getting that feeling, you are not getting the result. And it goes into here. Let me give you this. I'm gonna use your question to jump off for a while. So if you're hanging around for a bit, they'll be focused on that. So we're going now to the first book Neville ever wrote in 1939, and this is At Your Command. And this is towards the end of the book, but it says, "You can see in the state, you can see why this statement is made. For only upon the rock of faith can anything be established. If you have not the consciousness of the thing that you have not the cause or foundation upon which the thing is erected." So sorry, I butchered that a little bit. Like I said, it's like calling on a kid who can't read in class sometimes. Anyway, I was smoking it. A proof of this established consciousness is given in the words, "Thank you, Father." And that's like, now he's quoting the Bible. When you come into the joy of thanksgiving, so that you actually feel grateful for having received that which you have, that which not. When you come into the joy of thanksgiving, so that you actually feel grateful for having received that which is not yet apparent to the senses, you have definitely become one in consciousness with the thing that you gave thanks for. So, Stan, this is living in the end. And one of the things is you want to feel like you've already manifested the SP. You want to put yourself in that state. If it does not feel natural, that can be a source of your failing. 2, you didn't give it enough time. I know 2 months is a long time. The longest I waited, I believe, was 10 weeks. Like I always say, I'm no more than 2 weeks away from a miracle. When I buckled down and focused and assumed it was done within 2 weeks. But in these times, yeah, I get what you're saying. If SP is not really the one, think about first. I always tell everyone this. This is something that came as a realization later on. Why do you want to manifest your specific person? Is it truly a love for that person? Yes, you might love that person, but is it because of a feeling they create in you? No one can really create a feeling in you. You assign that feeling to that person and give yourself permission to feel that because you're associating with that person. You're looking for a feeling of love and happiness, most likely. And that love and happiness is tied into this specific person. I will say you can do it because I've done it. And I still have that manifestation. So I will never say you can't manifest that. But why do you want it? What feeling does your SP create in you? Now give that feeling to yourself. Now look at the circumstances. What is your self-concept in relation to this specific person? Do you feel that she looks at you a certain way where she's not going to want to be involved with you, or you look at her and can't forgive her for something? Now there might be a resistance or a block right there. So you have to address that. Address, what do you really want? Do you want that woman or no woman? Okay, if you want her and only her, figure out where the block is. Is the block something on your end, not forgiving or mad about something, or holding it back or having inner arguments? Or is it something that you assume that she thinks about you and that you can't get past? Now, if you want to see other people in the process, you're saying you want to see other people. There's nothing wrong with that. I have done it where I waited just for her and I did like no nut and all this shit, like just sit there, focus, visualize for her, hit the gym, all that stuff. And I just was a very pure life. Then I went through like, what do you call it? Like a little player phase. I'm going out, I'm talking to other women, I'm seeing other women, I'm doing all this stuff because with the thought process of everything is working out in my favor. And no matter what I do, I cannot fuck this up. So I hope that answers your question, Stan. I think it was a perfect question to ask because it goes right there with the part where you're thinking about failure. It's like either one, you haven't given enough time, you misdirection or misuse of the law, didn't truly feel that you've been using the law correctly, and things like that. So hopefully that gives you what you need to hear. I'm going to get back to these questions now. Oh, shit. I'm making a mess over here. God damn. Everything's working out in my favor, though. Yeah, it was good. The Mummy is on. Then The Mummy Returns. There you go, Gary. The two greatest movies ever made. Good morning, Courtney, and thank you for being a member of the channel, and thank you to Adriana as well too. If she's here, I love it. Gives you a little star and a green name. You can stand out in the chat now. It still feels like I'm cheating on manifestation when I pursue others, but just some days it feels like I'm going a little crazy. Thank you for your answer. Yeah, Stan, that's true. Sometimes, I mean, even like, you're manifesting SP and like you might hook up with someone else or flirt with someone else. It feels dirty and bad because your heart belongs to that person and you've restricted yourself. So you're really only doing that for a 3D validation to feel something that you need to be feeling in yourself. Because the next thing you know, what happens? If there's a block in you or something in you that feels insecure or not good enough, you might be carrying that with you to the next relationship. Now, granted, you might just have a resistance with that one person, but chances are it's like I've seen this with other people and myself. You will repeat patterns of you that need to grow or die off and become a better version of yourself that you find. I mean, the journey of this is a blessing, like especially the heartbreak stuff. It is a blessing because it really makes you analyze yourself, that person, the situation, relationship dynamics, where you stand in relationships, your looks, your everything. Like there's a blessing to it. Really use the chance to better yourself. Focus on you. There's nothing another person can give you. There's nothing a romantic person or romantic relationship can give you. I think it's better when you can both stand alone, but when you choose to stand together, it becomes something stronger. So being able to stand alone and make yourself the best version of yourself, knowing that whether this person leaves or not, it doesn't matter because you will not be broken and you're self-sufficient and self-standing. But she's someone that you want, not need. Remember that. That is very important. Your SP is somebody that you want, not need. Green is my favorite color. There you go. Just like Reverend Ike. You're green. John, what's up, brother? How you doing? All right, I'm gonna light my cigar now, guys. Have a sip of coffee, and we'll get back to reading Neville. If you got questions, drop them down. But I'm not gonna reread it as we go through. I'll leave this up here. You can re-see it later on. But we did discuss failure, and we just talked about gratitude. There's a little bit more in the gratitude stuff, but we got that there. Let's see. I think I got a message from a client right now. Nope. Yep. Okay, good. You get it. Oh, hold on. This is the meal prep. Okay, let's go. Okay, we got everything all organized here. So let's get back to what we were reading. There's no more questions, so we'll continue on. Now, again, I'm reading At Your Command by Neville. This is 1939. This is his first book. So what we just talked about was he's saying the line from the Bible, thank you, Father, is one of the most important lines that you could have because it is being grateful. It says, when you come into the joy of thanksgiving, so that you actually feel grateful for having received that which is not yet apparent to the senses, you have definitely become one in consciousness with the thing that you gave thanks for. Give thanks before it arrives. That's living in the end. God, your awareness, is not mocked. If you ever receive that which you are aware, you are ever receiving that which you are aware of being. No man gives thanks for something which he has not received. Yeah, you would not give thanks for something you haven't received yet. So when you start using gratitude to manifest things you want, you're going straight to the end. You're thankful that you already have this. So you cut out the middleman. You cut out the techniques. You cut everything out. Technically, this is a technique. Being grateful before you have received it. There's the other Bible line, pray as though you have received it and it shall be yours. Boom, Neville says it right here. You're asking for what you have not yet received, and it's being given to you. So again, he said, thank you, Father. Is there... hold on, let's see some questions coming up. I'll read them in a second. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father, is not, as it is used by many today, a short magical formula. You need never utter aloud the words, thank you, Father. In applying this principle as you rise in consciousness to the point where you are really grateful and happy for receiving the thing you desired, you automatically rejoice and give thanks inwardly. You have already accepted the gift, which was but a desire before you rose in consciousness, and your faith is now the substance that shall clothe your desire. So again, you're walking in faith for what you want. You get to the point, it feels so natural that every time that thought or that desire pops in your head, you automatically rejoice. You give thanks inwardly. You feel that it's already done. Now, I'm kind of reading this book backwards here because I started on the last page where I left off, but I thought that was pretty important. We'll go in here. I don't know if it's possible to manifest OCD to not have it anymore. Well, let me see. Xbox Criminal, I'll tell you this. Whatever you're aware of being, like, so you have a awareness that there's OCD. You're viewing OCD as a problem. You're looking at that you want to get rid of this, right? Okay, so it's the same thing. Like, I used to get horrible panic attacks. I used to have anxiety. Things would like fuck me up. I would get angry about a lot of things. It would be, I'm now a slave, and I consciously realize that I'm a slave to my own mind and my process. And people go, well, it's just anxiety. Some people have it, just deal with it. And then it's like, oh, well, you could take these pills and you could do this and you could see a therapist or you could. I don't want to do none of that. I don't identify with that. I identify with being the strongest version of myself. This makes me feel weak. This makes me feel like I don't have control of my life. And it took time. It took a process that, like, someone told me when I was a kid, well, you're just naturally depressed. I never thought I was back then, but then, it comes up later on. Like, so I just assumed I'm depressed. I'm anxious. I have these struggles. This life's going to be hard. Nothing works out in my favor. I'm consciously deciding, no, fuck this. I'm taking control of my life. And especially that's something that's taking place in the head. Your mind is a place you have control of. Do not give control of it to anything else. I mean, OCD is something you want to have control of, right? So that's the whole obsessive compulsive disorder is, essentially you want to control something. Well, take control of your mind. No, I make it. I'm the one in control. I control that. No, I don't need to freak out. And like, I don't know the specifics of it, but I know it's like sometimes, I think that's the one where it's like, you got to close the door 3 times before you leave or something. And you got like stuff like that. I don't know disorders that well because I'm not a doctor. Again, I'm not a doctor. It's just me going through, telling my stories of what I've went through. But I don't believe that you can be held up by something in your own mind. You choose, this is not my life. And then, is it going to be perfect? Maybe something does pop up. But did I still get panic attacks? Do they still try to pop up? Yeah, but I don't identify with that. No, that's not me. Take a deep breath. Realize who I am. Okay, no, I don't have panic attacks. I don't have anxiety. I don't I'm feeling down. There's no reason to feel down. Get the fuck up. Start doing gratitude. I'm grateful for boom, 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 boom. That's it. Pick myself up. Go from there. I don't let my mind dictate. I don't let the 3D dictate nothing. Instead of manifesting away OCD, manifesting in mental health. Well, that's the checking, closing doors, and there's the mental side. So you only get one or the other, and the mental one comes with themes. Okay, yeah, so like I said, I don't fully understand it. I know panic attacks and anxiety, and like, I mean, you watch The Sopranos, that's what I started going through around, like, that's why I like that show so much. It was like something I related to. I was going through a hard time with family and life and feeling constantly depressed, feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders. And I was having those where you're like spinning and you got to sit down. I never went full blown like out like him, but I've gotten to the point where, I mean, if my best friend popped in here, he would tell you we worked together at the same job. That's what made us close. Where, I mean, he would see me sometimes like leaned up in a hallway. He worked at a hotel. He would see me sometimes propped up in a hallway, like just trying to stay conscious without passing out. So, yeah, I just chose. It's like it was a process, though. I'm not saying this stuff doesn't happen overnight, but taking control of your mind, not becoming a slave to your mind or the mental disorders or whatever that you feel is afflicting you. I mean, if we can visualize and change the world outside of us, then changing the world within us, changing our bodies, all that stuff can be obtained as well, I believe. I believe that if you have control over outside circumstances through your thoughts and conscious creation, then on a micro scale, I mean, look at the people. They beat cancer. The people who overcome disabilities. Like the guy even in that movie, The Secret, where he crashed the plane and he couldn't walk. They said, "You'll never walk again." He goes, "I'm walking out by Christmas." He made a fucking statement. Said, "I am not going to be a slave to what you told me as a doctor. I am the master of my life. I am the master of my fate, and I am going to lift myself up and not become just another number, just a disorder. I am a human being. I have a name. I am a person, and I am going to live my life the way I want." So that's what I believe. But like I said, I can only teach and coach from my own experience. I have not had that disorder, so I can only tell you my belief on it, and hope you take inspiration from what I went through on a different journey, which you might not have struggled with what I struggled with, but realize that's something similar, or maybe it's not similar, but maybe it's like there's someone who overcame something. I've been struggling with physical and mental health and deciding and claiming that my health is ideal and it's a game changer. There you go, Courtney. See, yeah, no, it's like whatever you focus on, you create. Whatever you give energy to, whatever you realize, you energize. So stop focusing on, I have to get rid of this disorder. I have to get rid of this disease. I have to get rid of this, because it's almost like Neville with the ladder experiment, right? He says, visualize every night climbing the ladder. But throughout the day, "I will not climb a ladder" is posted everywhere. Or if we did that experiment in the modern day, you put it as your phone background. Everywhere you look, it says, "I will not climb a ladder." Your affirmation is, "I will not climb a ladder." But the thing is, you're visualizing before bed climbing a ladder. So your natural thought when ladder comes into your mind is climbing it. So if you visualize all the time, or your conscious thoughts are mainly on, "I have this disorder I need to get rid of," but then you're saying everywhere, "I will not have the disorder," your mind is only jumping to the disorder. It's associating with the worst case, not the ideal end version of it. You see what I'm saying? It's like you need to be careful how you word your words and visualizations. So instead of, "I do not have this anymore," that you're putting that thing in there, so you're visualizing that thing. You put instead, "I am healthy in all ways, mental and physical." That would be a strong affirmation, because you're thinking of mental and physical health, not a problem that you need to overcome, because now you got a barrier you're jumping over. See what I'm saying? All right, I'm going to continue on in our readings. Here's my little straw. Mitzi's here. Screenshot that one for meme. Exactly, Gary. That's beautifully put. Say "wake up" instead of "stop sleeping." Yeah, in the mornings when it's time to wake up and your alarm's going off and you don't want to do shit, you don't say "stop sleeping." You say "get up, wake up." Let's see. So I'm gonna go back a couple pages, because I'm trying to like go through this whole book, with stuff that I've read in the past. There's some stuff I highlighted years ago, and there's stuff that I have now. Oh, Gary, we were just talking about Moses the other day. This one, so this is the first page, first chapter of At Your Command, Neville Goddard, written 1939. Right, we're going to go over it again. Can man decree a thing and have it come to pass? Most decidedly he can. Man can always decree that which has appeared in his world, and is today decreeing that which is appearing in his world shall continue to do so as long as man is conscious of being man. So you are always what you are conscious of being. Not one thing has ever appeared in man's world but what man has decreed that it should be. So just like I said, nothing is going to be like you decree that I am healthy, wake up, I have SP, I am in a relationship with SP, I have millions of dollars. You are decreeing it, so it has no choice but to show up. This you may deny, but try as you will, you cannot disprove it. For this decreeing is based upon the changeless principle. You do not, and I got this part highlighted, you do not command things to appear by your words or aloud affirmations. Such vain repetition is more often than not confirmation of the opposite, which is what did we just talk about? Perfect timing to even pull this up. When you're just affirming it again and again, and it's like it could be like, "stop sleeping," or "I am over this condition." there is no more third party. You're in vain repeating and just saying something again and again because you are trying to get yourself to believe it. And that's what he's saying right there. This is actually one of my oldest highlightings in this book. The decreeing is ever done in consciousness. That is, every man is conscious of being that which he has decreed himself to be. The dumb man, without using words, is conscious of being dumb. Therefore, he is decreeing himself to be dumb. And then there again, I said, your self-concept is not only what you're affirming to be, not only like, oh, I'm in shape, so I'm confident and good looking. That's something that relates in that realm. So in terms of SP or business or jobs or opportunities, you have a self-concept there. If you see yourself as dumb and hard to hire, then that is your ever-present consciousness in that realm, right? It's going to be that you are always seeing yourself subconsciously as a failure when it comes to jobs and things like that. When the Bible is read in this light, you will find it to be the greatest scientific book ever written. Instead of looking upon as a historical record of ancient civilizations, or a biography of the unusual life of Jesus, it is a great psychological drama taking place in the consciousness of man. I got this part highlighted here. Claim it as your own, and you will suddenly transform your world from the barren deserts of Egypt to the promised land of Canaan. So by claiming that this is possible, that you do have the mindset to change things, that is what brings you from nothing to everything. The promised land, the millions of dollars, the specific person, everything that you ever desired, by accepting the fact that you can change it, gives you that chance. Everyone will agree with the statement that all things were made by God, and without him, there is nothing that is made. There's nothing made that is unmade, or nothing made that is made. But what man does not agree upon is the identity of God. All churches and priesthoods of the world disagree in the identity of the true nature of God. The Bible proves beyond the shadow of the doubt that Moses and the prophets were in 100% accord as the identity and nature of God. And Jesus' life and teachings are in agreement with the findings of the prophets of old. Moses discovered man's awareness of being when declared in these little understood words, I am hath sent me unto you. So once again, Larry, what are we going with? Where's the Mystic logo? Oh, it's on the phone, right? Ink designed this logo years ago on this head that says I am, but she put it in like a nice, like fancy way. I am hath sent unto you. David sang in his psalms, be still and know I am God. Isaiah declared, I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, through thou hast not known me. I form the light and I create the darkness. I make the peace and create the evil. I, the Lord, do all things. So right there, in like all these different parts of the Bible, this last one by Isaiah, it's I create the light and the darkness. I create the peace and the evil. It's your identity. What do you see? You're seeing these, like you see a circumstance and you're putting the meaning into it, which means you create it. A circumstance happens, you create what it is. That's why when people are like, oh, it is what it is. No, it is what the fuck you make it. Life is what you make it. A circumstance happens. It's only bad because you identify it as bad. It's only good because you identify it as good. If you say, if it is actually something really bad, what can you learn from this and how does it work out in your favor? What makes this a good circumstance? How does a bad one turn around? Because the I am is the I am creative power of life. You can create a different way out. The awareness of being God is stated 100 times or hundreds of times in the New Testament. To name a few, I am the shepherd. I am the door. I am the resurrection to life. I am the way. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the beginning and the end. Whom do you say that I am? It is not stated, I, Jesus, am the door. I, Jesus, am the way. So, I mean, this was like a big breakthrough when I read this. Nor is it said that, whom do you say that I, Jesus, am? It clearly states, I am the way. So, again, you are the creative power of life. God lives within you. Jesus is buried in Golgotha. Neville talks about that in his lecture. It's like Jesus is buried in Golgotha. That's the skull of man. So when you realize all the power comes from the mind and everything, and I mean, the Stoics talk about it, the other religions talk about it. You have the power to create. It all comes from within. Every ancient text, every ancient teaching, all the principles, even like modern day stuff, if you break it down, it all points back to you can create your reality. Reality is yours to create. I am. That's it. You are the I am of life. So the awareness of being is the door through which manifestation of life passes. It passes into the world of form. So I don't know if I should continue reading. You guys got questions? I mean, I'm reading Neville now because I was reading it this morning and I thought, this would be nice. I was going to listen to a lecture from him. We're still just breaking in the cigar. If you guys got questions, drop them. But, Neville preaches a lot from the Bible. I've read the Bible and confirmed it. The ancient Stoics, they talk about it. I've lived the stuff. I'm still manifesting different things into my life. It's just knowing that you're the one who creates. So I might put that to the side for a second. Maybe we'll just listen to one of his lectures, right? We'll put the phone on vibrate, and we'll go from there. Or if anyone's, we don't have many viewers today, but would you guys rather the lecture or me read it? It's up to you. I'm cool with whatever. But then again, my reading is my reading, right? Never speak ill of yourself, but that's what I've been going through. I did have one I wanted to read, play for you guys. It's been a while. It's been on my mind for a while, too, doing another Neville lecture. I always liked the way it looked. I'm going to close the window a little bit. You guys tell me if you could hear this when I do it, all right? If you can't, then we got to start over.
And I discovered who he is my own imagination. So I turned to my own imagination, and I wonder not to imagine yourself.
Can you hear that or no? If you can't, if you guys can't hear it, then we're going to just go back to reading. I think the reading might be better at this point. Or if you have manifesting questions, drop them. I feel like it's very difficult to hear. Let me try this.
Unenjoyed, let out. What did you do this day?
I need to get a speaker. It's too quiet, I think. We'll just continue on with the reading. We'll have our Monday morning lecture based on Neville's readings, right? But if you have questions, I'll break away for that because that's more interesting and engaging. But for now, I'm trying to be a little bit more professional. Keep it rolling for anyone who's rewatching later on. Oh. So then we'll go back to this, and he references this a lot of times, and I reference it a lot of times too. I'm going to just reopen the window so I don't choke in here. He says, I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. This seems very confusing, but if interpreted in the light of what I have just said concerning the identity of God, you will find it very revealing. Consciousness, being God, is a Father. The thing that you are conscious of being is the Son, bearing witness of his Father. It is like the conceiver and its conception. The conceiver is ever greater than his conceptions, yet ever remains one with his conception. For instance, before you are conscious of being man, you are first conscious of being. Then you become conscious of being man. Yet you remain as a conceiver, greater than your conception, man. So again, you are the observer of life. You are aware that you are aware. And then you start figuring out more things to be aware of. But whatever you're aware of, that's what becomes. Like you become more of whatever you're aware of. So if it's something negative, you're aware of negative and you will get more negative and your life will become negative. You're aware of positive, you will become more positive. So Jesus discovered this glorious truth and declared himself one with God. Here's this me stuttering and falling apart. And declared himself to be one with God, not a God that man has fashioned, for he never recognized such a God. He said, if any man should ever, and this is a quote from the Bible, if any man should ever come saying, look here and look there, believe them not, for the kingdom of God is within you. And that's straight up. I mean, I got that highlighted because that's straight up, it's manifesting right there. And I want to do another series or segment too, where I'm reading all the ancient Stoics too, because all of this stuff, it all is just right there. And if anything, if you could take anything from today's life, it's the fact that you are the creative force of your own life. You have the power to give to other things, or you have the power to take it away. You are the light and the dark. Focus on the light. Don't focus on the dark. Just believing it's possible, everything. Sometimes don't even have to go to the end. Exactly. That's when you hit the general affirmations, just knowing that you have the creative power. Things can change. So just knowing that, or believing that, okay, what do I have to lose by trying this? It's worked for others. Why can't it work for me? Just blindly going into it. Like Neville always said too, his best students were the people who doubted him, because they went there and they applied his principles hardcore, trying to disprove him, but they couldn't. But it was like you said, his best students were the ones, or his worst students were the ones who were always, showing up and not doing it. Like they liked to go into the lectures. There are people who love watching manifesting videos. They love reading the books, but they don't do it. My man, Adriel Peso, what's up? We're reading a little bit of Neville here. Got any questions? Drop them. And I love the wolf logos. And then the next part he says, here's what Neville says. Heaven is with, or when it is recorded that he went unto his Father, it is telling you that he rose in consciousness to the point where he was just conscious, transcending the limitations of his present conception of himself, called Jesus. In the awareness of being all things are possible, he said, you shall decree a thing and it shall come to pass. Again, so Neville's taking the example from Jesus, that he transcended all limitations by just becoming I am. And now you look into the scientific studies of Joe Dispenza. What does he do? He takes you into the nothingness when you're meditating. You become nothing. It's like you're nowhere, no time, no one. You just are. You're just an awareness when you get into that deep meditation, like Joe Dispenza teaches. And this is what Jesus was identifying with, that he was just one with all things. And if you decree a thing, it shall come to pass, because all things are possible. So that's what it says. Good to see you, G. Hope all is well. It is, brother. It is. Every day is a good day, blessed day. We're here. We're out here Monday morning. We're giving a nice lecture. We're reconnecting with some of old Neville's teachings. And, positive day we're about to get after this week. All of our dreams and desires are happening this week. And we're just enjoying a nice coffee, cigar. I will say this, too. We got more viewers now. And, I might start saying it more often. There's next month. See, this is something where I talk about having goals besides SP and stuff like that. Like, obviously, me and Lily are together now, right? But this was something that bounced around my head for years. When I was young, I wanted to do a bodybuilding competition. Then, you start looking for, you don't look for synchronicities. They pop up and they feel right. So in 50 days, now it's on, today is the 47th day, there will be a bodybuilding competition in Los Angeles. If you are a mystic in Los Angeles or feel like making the trip, I will be competing in a bodybuilding show. This is something I'm saying now. My goal is just to get myself in as good a shape as I can. And now, look, I didn't want to put it out there because I was scared. But if you're scared, you're tempted to fail. 50 days is not really enough. You usually do, like, when I was looking into doing it when I was younger, you need like 90 days. But I want the confidence to step on stage. I have a torn pec. I don't know if that will hinder it, but I'm going out there to win. But if I don't, I just want the confidence to step on stage. But it's a goal and something. Can I maintain a diet? Can I do this? Can I do that for this amount of time? I'm setting a goal for myself. So have other goals in life besides the specific people, guys, and go after something that lights your heart on fire and gives you passion. Now that's a little bit off topic, but I also want to say this too. Something else I wanted to do was, I made an announcement on this, but I don't think it reaches. I don't think the community posts reach everyone. So while we're here in the live, next week I'll announce it again too. One, I'm trying to do more lives, but I have a seminar scripted out. It's going to run for probably a couple hours. I'm thinking at least 3. But maybe more, because you know how I like to talk. We take lives. It's 44 minutes in the live already, and I'm going to keep rolling because I got the energy. So I want to do a seminar towards the end of the month. It's going to be on June. What's this month? June? Yeah. June 23rd at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So if that works for you, send me an email at mysticmanifesting@gmail.com, and book your spot. It's only going to be $85 because it's not like the one-on-one sessions, and it will just be a chance for us to talk. And if you got questions, ask them, and I'll run through my experience with manifesting and work you guys through what you're going through, and help you guys create your own personalized manifestation game plan for yourself. Mitzi, what's up? Just got back from the gym. There you go. Did you avoid the squat rack today, or did you go? It's just a little teeny sounding. Or tinny sounding. Oh, with the thing with Neville, right, Courtney? Yeah, it's like I think that we'll just hold off on the Neville one until I get a speaker, and then we'll play the Neville stuff while I'm doing this. Please stop asking me about the squat rack. It's okay, Mitzi. I'm afraid of the squat rack too. I don't do it as much as I should. The machines suffice for my legs. But now that I just announced my bodybuilding competition, I need to buckle down and probably actually hit it a few times. Put that mass on. I'm not touching it in any reality. Can we talk about how there is always movement? Yeah, Courtney, there's always movement. And the movement that's happening in the background is whatever you assume it to be enough. I don't know how many times I could prove this other than like the biggest times were like when I was supposed to get my promotion and I didn't know how to do something behind the scenes. I just assumed because I didn't really see the guy who was in control of that. But I just pictured his wife telling him, this is bullshit, this is this, blah, blah, blah. You fucking this kid over. And then next thing you know, he goes, yeah, I talked to my wife. And I was thinking, I'm kind of fucking you over. Then he went to make the move to give me the promotion, but he didn't really. It was just a conversation happened. It presented itself in reality. I was in disbelief. And then boom, it didn't happen. So that was one thing. But then even in the stuff when me and Lily were separated, everything I visualized her going through in the background, that was happening. Now, am I psychic? No. So that was just whatever I think is happening is happening. Whatever you think is happening because you are creating your reality. There's infinite realities. That person and their reality might never be with you, but you're getting the best version of them. Like I said, sometimes the people that come back into your life, when they leave your life and they come back, that is not the same person. It is a better version. Or maybe sometimes you get a worse version because you only imagine the worst. Or I'll tell you, if I do something and I'm thinking, it's a good thing, but I'm starting to think, I don't know, I don't think this person will like it. Everyone will be happy with what I just did, but except this one person. That one person will have a problem with it. There will be something that happens in the background that makes them not like the thing you did. So there's always movement in the background. And we decide what happens in the background. We can't physically see it, but we could shift into a reality where that infinite possibility, like what did it say? All things are possible right here. Neville just says it. What did Jesus say? You shall decree a thing and it shall come to pass. It's all right here. But let's see what did Courtney say. Oh, yeah, she said that. Gary said calisthenics are better, in my opinion, than my experience. I've not done deadlifts or squats in a long time. Yeah, I feel the same way, Gary. I haven't done deadlifts in maybe 8 months or so. I will do deadlifts over squats, but the risk-reward ratio on those heavy compound movements like that, I feel like I'm not focusing the muscle enough, and it's a heavy risk on it. I do conditioning on heavy bag with kicks. There you go. Yeah, and you're hitting the compounds that way. It's something I am working on currently. I feel like I reached a Sabbath, but then I fall out. Well, Courtney, it's normal to waver. People waver in it because it's like you're not seeing it. The longer you're waiting for something, the more you realize waiting. The thing is, don't get stuck in realizing the waiting and experience it. If you got to have that feeling and the feeling pops up, feel it, but now do your best to get yourself back to it. And it is just constantly pulling yourself back. I've seen horrible situations in my circumstance where even now I sit back, how the fuck did I get through that? Like, that was a very hard thing to do. That's why I don't diminish anybody here telling me that, oh, I struggle with this, I struggle with that. You struggle because, what do you call it? You're struggling because you're a human. Like this, it hurts to not have what you want. But when you realize that everything is within you, you could, whatever desire you're craving, you can experience it now in your mind. When you come out of that visualization or out of that scripting session or out of that affirmation rampage, you might not see it and feel very discouraged. Like it's like you're shooting yourself up with the drug of positivity, and then you come back down hard when you realize it. But it's like, no, you know what? How did I just feel? Oh yeah, I like that feeling. And then you just pull back. And it is like we talk about with in terms of this is your mental diet and your physical diet. Like in your physical world, you can eat whatever the fuck you want. I mean, look at Gary's examples of eating pizza and all that stuff that he eats. He'll eat a whole pizza after the gym, but he's still shredded with a six pack. Why? Why are people able to do that? It's because you're dominantly like you're in a caloric deficit, right? So you want to be in a negativity deficit. So you might have the cheap meal of a negative thought or a spiral or whatever, but overall, you're in the state of having and thankfulness for what you already don't have. And you dominate your day with that thought. So if your mornings are good because you're positive, your nights are good, and throughout the day you hit it a good amount of times, you have overall positive mental diet, and you are in the end scene or in the end state more than an opposite state of negativity. Last month was the most difficult for me in terms of health. Now doing my best to refocus, pushing forward. There you go, John. It's like start, that's the thing. Start identifying with the more healthy version of yourself. And then for me, it's always like, I do know that like things come into your reality as they need to go, but maybe this part of it is you writing that and me telling you this. If there's a way to physically do something, if you can start running, walking, whatever you want to do with lifting weights to make yourself feel good, to put yourself in that state and focus on it. Put your health as the focus now, not as a concern or something that you need to fix, but identify as a healthy man, as everything is yours now. You are healthy. So when you identify as healthy, it is more natural to say, no, I'm a healthy guy. I don't eat bad. I can do this. I don't need as many, whatever you have to do. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying not to do it because I'm not a doctor, but, maybe it's like, oh, there's less trips to the doctor now. Or you start realizing it's like, oh, last month I had to go 5 times, but this month I only went 4. That's because my health is improving every single day. So, yeah, there's some things in the 3D that still might be an obstacle, but you only realize the parts of them that are positive, if that makes sense. You are already the winner. Yes, exactly. You guys have already won. The competition's the game of life. You have already won it. Because that is what life is. It is a game. We're here to have fun. Don't take it seriously. Yes, there's certain circumstances that are horrible that are slapping you in the face and invoking emotional responses, but do not be a slave to those emotions or those people who put you in those states. You consciously choose that you want to have a good life and that nothing is going to bother you. You are limitless, and there's nothing that you can't do. You must be born again. That's a quote from the Bible right there. I just flipped pages while you guys want to look at from Neville. If you are dissatisfied with your present expression of life, the only way to change it is to take your attention from that which seems real. I tried to read too fast. See what happened there? My eyes started going different ways. If you are dissatisfied with your present expression of life, the only way to change it is to take your attention away from that which seems so real to you and rise in the consciousness to that which you desire to be. So that's what he means by born again. Like that's Neville taking a Bible quote and putting it there. If you are dissatisfied with your present expression of life, change it. What is the opposite of what is dissatisfying you? Become that. Don't just think about it. Become it. You are what you decide to become. You cannot serve 2 masters. Therefore, you take your attention from the state of consciousness and place it upon another. That is to die. It is to die to one and live to another. The question, whom do you say that I am? That's a quote from the Bible he's taken. So in the Bible it says, who do you say that I am? And remember, the I am consciousness is the God within you. Is not addressed to the man called Peter by the one called Jesus. This is an eternal question addressed to oneself by one's true being. In other words, whom do you say that you are? You decide who you are in life. You decide what you're going to be. You decide how your life plays out. You are the one making all the decisions of life. In other words, it is meant the me within you that is God. So it says, here's another line. You believe in God, you also believe in me. In other words, it is the me within you that is the God, or that is God. Praying then is seen as recognizing yourself to be which you now desire, rather than accepting a form of petitioning God that does not exist for which you desire. So he's saying when you're praying to the external God, the higher self, it is just a higher version of you. You are an aspect of God. You create reality. We identify God created heaven and earth, and everything that is made has always been made. Creation is finished. So, like Neville's saying, God lives within you. You choose to identify with that creative power. And the hack to it is, all religions believe in a God. So when you identify with that higher source and that creative force, you put yourself in that state. If that is all powerful and you are an aspect of that, you are a child of that, then boom, all you have to do is give thanks for not having whatever you have, and you know it's going to be granted because that is more powerful than any circumstance. That makes sense. Mystic, you probably are familiar with this in the entertainment industry, constantly being told no. How do you navigate external reality that is contradictory when you're in, sorry, as you see, I said, I'm not really a reader. I had another person show, hold on. Now I'm seeing two different things. I'm seeing double. Mystic, you are probably familiar with this in the entertainment industry, constantly being told no. How do you navigate external reality that is contradictory when internally we already have what we want? So you mentioned entertainment industry, so I'm assuming that your manifestation is something in the entertainment industry. Well, right now it's like I'm currently not involved in that much, and I've always, like, for the most part, I've wound up doing my own thing. You have to ask yourself, like, here was my problem with it too. I didn't really identify with, where I was going to. It's like the stuff I was auditioning for when I was in the acting realm, I didn't want to do any of them. I was settling for, it's like the lesser of two evils, right? You say in elections, right? It's the lesser of two evils. I'm picking the least shitty independent film to go out for. I didn't even have an agent or nothing because I didn't know how to do all that. I'm like, I'll do it all myself. I went in with cockiness but no confidence. So if that makes sense, I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'm confident enough to do it, or I'm bold enough to do this. So the doors just have to be open for me. And I walk in with not knowing how to do anything or any confidence in it, and it's like you get rejected after thing after thing. Ask yourself what you can be doing in the 3D. Like in my reality, what I was doing was I wasn't even reading the stuff to prep. Oh, I don't need a monologue. I'm a star. I'm seeing myself that way, but I don't believe it. So I'm visualizing it's going to work out. Like this was before I was into manifesting. That's why this is another goal I have. Like why I'm doing the bodybuilding competition, why I'm wanting to revamp my other channels, because I'm seeing something that I did have on a vision board a long time ago was to be a motivational speaker. Surprisingly, that came first, but it was through a series of circumstances which led me here to this. So I want to test the law in these other aspects. So I always had the assumption there's no good roles. It's always ass movies and short films, and I don't have any access to anything. That was what I was aware of. I was aware of what everybody said in the film industry, that it's hard to break into. Everybody you're going to deal with is shitty. They're not going to like you because, so I live in Chicago, right? All the stuff is done downtown or the north side. They're not going to like you because you're from the south side. They're not going to like you because you're a blue collar guy. And I took all these things, but I was so cocky. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to break the door down. But I truly didn't believe in myself. I believed more in the limitations of what I heard than that. So being told no a bunch of times made me think, what can I do? But then I started writing, which I've always been good at writing. Maybe not the best reader, but I've always been good at writing. So my thing was, all right, I'm going to write them, and I'm going to make an opportunity for myself. And I've always been a big Sylvester Stallone fan. There's a lot of parallels in his life that relate to mine in terms of acting and stuff like that, and creativity. Even a chest tear, his was the right pec, mine was the left pec. And he didn't make it till he was in his 30s. So I was like, I'm going to make my opportunities. And like I would get little things. And like one of my biggest videos, I think it had 15,000 views on a small little channel that no one ever heard of, Flex Entertainment, but I'm going to bring that back, was a video of me auditioning for Tony Soprano when everybody was like, I was going through all my panic attacks and stuff back then. I'm like, use my pain for this artistic creation, and I'm going to have this be my most successful video, and the people from The Sopranos are going to see it and say, yes, he's young Tony. Now, luckily, the movie turned out to be a fucking ass and a flop, and I didn't get it. Otherwise, I would be associated with that. But I got roasted the fuck. Like it, I got thick skin, but that one hurt me because that show meant a lot to me. And I was like, boy, this hurts. 15,000 people came for my cheeks and clapped the fuck out of them. And I was like, damn, I'm just getting torn apart here. My friend who helped me make the video made a little cameo that they ripped him to shreds too. That was like a major no on like not getting it, getting the role and stuff like that. But my assumption that it was going to pop. And Vito from The Sopranos, he retweeted it. Like he saw the video and retweeted it. So I know that the people seen it. But it was not, what do you call it? It was still a no. And all these auditions, and I would get the parts though. Like when I was getting more parts, I was identifying with. One of them was to play. It was like a noir type film. I know I'm gonna get the part, but I botched the fucking thing. Like I didn't prepare for it or anything. But I know I'm gonna be in this film. I like the idea of the film. At the end, I end up just being a goon. But everything. This is when I was really experimenting with conscious creation. I saw myself on sets and movie premieres and stuff like that. When I saw the premieres and things like that, someone offered me, like I was in a little short film and they did a movie premiere and stuff. I'm like, this isn't a Hollywood premiere. I'm not going. I'm better than that. I got to go do my day job. Really, I should have took the day off and I should have went. And I should have brought my grandma to that in hindsight because now she would never get to see me at one. But, my mistake was thinking I was better than something and going in cocky, not confident. And I missed that red carpet premiere, even though it was a little thing. It was like, just have fun with it and enjoy the little things. Enjoy the little opportunities you get. Have fun creating stuff. It's not a job and a mission, because when it's a job and a mission, that insinuates subconsciously that there is a struggle and you're fighting against something. And if you're fighting against something, you're always going to get a pushback. You're always going to be getting knocked back a little bit. And you know what? In that one opportunity, I did manifest. I went to a film studio in Chicago. I was on a set where it's like you're in a bar, then you're in someone's bedroom, then it's a kitchen, then it's front room. Like I was there. I saw myself there, but I was playing the goon, and I was like, I'm going to write myself into this, and I'm trying to add stuff to this film. And they're like, is that some extra shit, dude? Sit down, sit the fuck down. Like you're just supposed to stand there and be bigger than everybody. And it was like, oh, I was supposed to be the star. So I put myself into that state, that the vision came true, but my belief when it came down to it. So it's like you will manifest opportunities, but if you're not mentally conditioned to be confident when it comes to that, and your self-concept has not risen to the self-concept that you deserve to be there, you will struggle with it. So anyway, I know it's a long thing, but Aesthetic Over Everything, which is a great name, by the way. I hope that helps answers your question. If there's anything else, I'm never at a short for words. I'll ramble on forever. Long story short, what I was immediately able to control, I was able to control. I'll write my own stuff. I got a camera here and a camera there. I taught myself how to film. I taught myself how to edit. And then I fell in love with that process. That built my confidence, because then I was getting little jobs with independent films. I'm giving them advice there. Now they're valiant, and I've built a little network. Then I just, at one point, when I was going through like a heavy depression and stuff, I just kind of removed myself from the industry. And then I kind of got into the whole SP thing and stuff like that. So now it's like with a better mindset, I could jump into it. Well, let me see. Courtney said, I am still in the situation that you and I talked about. I had another person show up who was doing exactly what I imagined for SP. Negativity deficit. Yes, I get all the negative people. I get all the negative people out of your life. Either 3D or 4D helps everyone. Removing yourself from identifying with someone who's in those situations. I'm grateful for what you have. Like Courtney, similar to like a situation that me and you talked about, learning to value what I did have and not seeing myself as better and cocky and arrogant. Because you know what, at the end of the day, like my heroes, I was emulating Arnold. I was emulating The Rock and stuff like that. And now I look at them and I'm from the conscious, enlightened person I am now, right? It's like stuff that always never sat right with me with Arnold was like sabotaging people in the Mr. Olympia and stuff like, ooh, I am the best. No, if you were the best, dude, you wouldn't have to sabotage no one. That's weak, and that's not an abundant mindset. That's a fucking cowardly, not a man-like or even decent human being-like thing. And, it took time to realize, don't meet your heroes. Like, there's no reason to be idolizing anybody. Like, I know people look up to me as the mystic and stuff. Look up to yourself. Love yourself, love your higher self, love God, love whatever. Like, you don't ever idolize another person. So, that was something I seen there, and it was like me and Courtney talked about this before. Being thankful for the situation you have. If you look for people to be shitty and like you're better than everyone, then you're only going to experience shitty versions of them, and you're going to keep trying to pump yourself up. And really, all it is a facade to make yourself feel better than them because you're so disgusted with them, you fear that you might become them one day. There's no one's better than anybody. We're all in this together. We're all in here to play the game of life, and we're all on the same team. We're on humanity's team. We're working together. We're playing a game of life, and we should be here to have fun, build each other up, work together at our goals. That's why in the Discord, I opened up a channel on the Discord today for networking because through all this, I've got a ton of clients who are creative. One of my other clients, his brother's an actor, and it's like we're all into the same stuff. And a lot of people, it's like you can network through this stuff, and it's like, and you don't have to feel judged by people when manifesting comes up. So that's something I open up in the Discord if you guys are interested in that. But it's like even through the comment sections, maybe network with people. But we're all in this together. No one's better than anyone. Yeah, Spiral, I always end up pushing back. CBT Corp, yeah, don't like think you fucked up though. You could spiral, you could get involved in the middle, you could do pushback, and then all of a sudden it doesn't work. But really, what did you learn from that situation with your pushing back? It means you're not confident in yourself yet. You don't believe it's possible. So the opportunity arises, it's there, and instead of being grateful for the little stuff you have identified with, it's not good enough for me. I'm pushing this motherfucker because it needs to be this way now. So drop the ego to it. Be thankful for what you have. Keep your boundaries up on stuff. Don't let the world walk all over you. Be confident enough that if whatever this is walks away, you'll have another chance. There's infinite chances and everything's working out in your favor. And don't stop living life. Do you think being selective about revision is important? For being told no. I guess we should only revise the castings that we want to go a certain way. Yeah, aesthetic, it's, like I said, my thing was I had the assumption that there was no good castings and I get no good opportunities. So I didn't really deal with that, having to revise anything because I didn't give a shit. There were a couple that I kind of did like. Most of the ones I did get the role, like the cockiness is enough to get you so far, but the confidence and being humble, I think, is what gets you where you need to go. So at the worst case, even if you don't get a call back for that, why did you want that particular casting? Why did you want that film? What did you gain out of it? Was the role really that great? Okay, if it was, and you revise it and you feel good, play that role. Maybe rehearse it. Do a monologue on your own. You don't have to submit it to anywhere. You don't have to go try and get that role again. You don't need to send it to the people. But embody the role because you really liked it a little bit. Play around with that role. Maybe on your phone, make a little scene with it or whatever. And then go on to the next one. Or write something similar that you like and maybe get some people together and do it. But why did you want that role so bad? And then I know why. Sometimes there's a really good character and it's like, well, I don't want to make anything about it because it's not mine. Don't publish it or nothing, but just, if you like that character, like explore that character on your own. Do a revision on it. And you know what? By exploring that character and doing the revision, there's a chance you get that call back and it's like, no, we really like you. And it's like, you can't tell how the world went, but you prepared for that role like you got it. So that could open up the doors and the floodgates for it to come back, right? But start thinking exactly of why this is something that now I'm restarting my journey on all that stuff. What role do you want to play? Why do you want to play these specific roles? What are the roles you want to have in your life and in your entertainment career? What is the mission of it? What do you have to gain out of it? Like I had a little bit of this stuff when I started, but it was like very cocky and arrogant and saying, I just want to be number one. I want to be like Arnold. And it's like, now it's like the person I was emulating is someone not to admire, in my opinion. But sorry, I was thirsty for coffee. But you could literally, it's just, finding out why you want to play that role. And you don't have to revise everything. You could even go general aesthetic too. General in how you revise. I've always gotten every role I wanted. And you go back and do a quick revision. What was the character you want to play here? I wanted to play this cowboy. I remember this cowboy was fucking badass. I loved playing that character. So I've done a cowboy before. Next time I do a cowboy film, I could do that. That war movie was pretty taxing. We did a lot of fight scenes in that one. It was cool to work with those effects. But then again, you didn't get any right. You didn't get any of the roles. You kept saying they kept saying no, but you did them in your head. And now this was something I did the day I met Lily. I was sitting in the car with a torn pec, heartbroken over another chick, learning the law, and saw a couple of crazy and miraculous things happen at this point. But I was like, my self-concept with women at the time was still really bad. So I went back to every girl who I really, really liked and wanted something with it. I got turned down and said no, and it didn't work. And I just went, I'm like, yeah, my first crush. Then we dated throughout grammar school, a little bit into high school. Yeah, it was kind of like our first little puppy love fling. And then the girl I liked in high school was like, yeah, we went to prom together and this and that. And I kind of redid that event in my head. This girl I liked right after I got out of high school and like early, like what I would have been college. I didn't go to college. Would have been college era, like there. Then the girl who just broke my heart. It's like, yeah, that was good too. It's like, now you know what? I'm focusing on me. I'm going into this gym because I have an injury and I'm going to put myself together. And I make a promise to myself and to God that I'm going to go into this gym and work on me. And the second I went in there with that, I run into my friend's dad. We have a motivational chat. He goes, I want to introduce you to someone. No, I don't want to meet nobody. Who does he walk me into the door to? I meet Lily, and then it leads me on this crazy path that leads me here to you guys. But that was my revision to it. And I wind up now being the guy that people come to about relationship advice when I was sitting there hopeless 3 years ago at one point. So who knows where you'll be next year or in 2 years or in 3 years, 5, 10 years with your acting career. Yeah, it's absolutely true, bro. I'm still tripping about everyone as you pushed out and wondering in what sense is it true. Manifesting inanimate things has come easy to me, but I don't have the confidence with people yet. Yeah, CBT, it's see, sometimes for me it's the inanimate things that are a little bit more difficult. I mean, I sometimes with the money, it's like you can visualize it, you find the money on the street, or like affirming that I'm going home with $1,000 tonight with 300 in my wallet and gambling and losing every gamble that I made that night. And then on the last 20, I say that prayer to God. I don't know how, but I trust you. Go to hit the button and the thing right next to me is going off. And then a dead bar with nobody in it, fucking $1,000 pops out of a fucking ATM right next to me. Well, it was 2,000, but my friend, she walked up and we wound up having to split it. But 2,000 came out and I said I was leaving with 1,000. I should have said I'm leaving with 2,000 because then she would have never walked up and I would have had it all. But point is, inanimate things could be easier. People seem harder because you're putting weight into what is told to you. Obviously, what is told to you is real. They put up a boundary. They said something. Respect the boundary. Respect the 3D. There is nothing you can do in the 3D when the thing is set. Like Neville says, when he got drafted to the army, you are put in a prison of a sense, right? You're put into that prison. You're told, locked out by life. All you can do is go within your imagination. And in your imagination, you are the creator. You are the creative power. You are limitless, right? That's where you can have those inner conversations. What do you want SP to say? What do you want your boss to say? Hear them say it to you. You respond to them in a loving way. You forgive whatever situation happened. You forgive yourself for whatever you did. And you just come at everything with love. And when you come at everything with love, everything comes back at you with love. Just put it in this way, CBT. The world is a mirror. How you treat the world and how you expect to be treated, you will be treated. What's the golden rule? Treat others as you would love to be treated, right? Or like to be treated, whatever they say. You will be treated the way you expect to be treated too. Divine Empress, what's up? When I was in entertainment, the less I cared, the more things went my way, detached and didn't know. Exactly, yeah. When it's almost too in like a way of giving up. When sometimes giving up is giving up to you in a conscious sense, but the subconscious connotation to giving up is you're walking in faith. Like you've done the work already, and it's like, oh, you know what? I know that this is working out, but I don't know how. So that's the subconscious belief to it, that you've done enough work already, and now it's just time to experience it. Yes, good point. I think that revising in general would be a good way to eliminate the so-called struggle of caste. Exactly. And, I got more when I just had the thought, too, of like, one of my things I was thinking was, I'm like, I don't need them. They're lucky I'm here. This is a cocky mentality, but it was confident, too, because when I started realizing my abilities with the camera and the fact that I was writing better scripts, this is me humbly saying this. Trust me, that you probably know this. You're looking at independent stuff. It's like, who the fuck wrote this? Like, I don't even want to go out for it, but I feel like I have to do it with that SAG-AFTRA card, right? And it's like, I don't want to do it, but I need to get more roles under my belt. But I went from the thing, I'm only going to take what I want because I can write a better role than this. It might be more effort, but I know I'll make it happen. And one of my things was I wanted to make a short film, so I made a short film. Didn't turn out how the script looked. End product was far from the script, but I made a short film. The next affirmation, I said I want to make a good short film. I had it written and we did some work on it, but hard part about running a film is, you don't have the people you need, right? It's everyone's schedules off. And then if you quit your job to line up with everyone's schedules, well, now you're out of money, but they're all still working and you're still working around their schedule. So there's struggles to it, but if you don't look for the struggle, you look for the easy way, you will have more easy opportunities. But when I had that mentality of like, yeah, I don't need them, more opportunities showed up. Oh, wow, that's very interesting. I think objects come easy for me because I come from a religious background. We mostly grew up praying for things, told not to worry about specific persons. Yeah, the way I look at it is like, I mean, I'm not over, we didn't go up in an overly religious thing. It was kind of like the one thing my dad always said: if God gave you a week, you could give him an hour, right? We had to go to church. Our parents didn't go, so they averted cameras for it. So like they would send us to church and catechism class and shit like that. And I always liked the stories. I didn't always like the teachers and the over like, some of these people are like over religious, like, or everything's a sin. You're bad. You're born bad. You're born evil. And it's like, come on, that's not the Bible I read. That's not the one Neville's interpreting. You're not born evil. You're an aspect of God, and God wants to give you your desires. So I didn't really align with that stuff, but the specific people, I get what you're saying though. From a religious background, it's more or less the things you want: abundance, God will give you money. You want opportunities, God will give you those opportunities. But think about it: if you manifest money, somebody built an ATM that was deficient, or something went wrong in that. Maybe they reloaded it the wrong way or something that made that money pop out. There was probably a person involved in that. When I found the 300 on the ground, somebody took $300 out, dropped it, and it was just sitting on the ground in the middle of a carnival. Like, that's somebody did that. There was a person involved in that. So there's always a person involved, whether it's a thing or not. Like finding that blue squishy ball, or what was the other one? Seeing a chrome car. Somebody had to decide, like, oh, maybe they're late leaving, but then the chrome car drives by me. It was being towed on a thing. So it's like that's being, or that wasn't me. That was Ink saw that. But like Ink had to be leaving her place at this time, and they had to be towing that thing at that time, and who knows why the schedule lined up, but those were all people involved in bringing me that seeing of a chrome car, right? So there's always people involved in it. That's a way to take from it. So even when you're manifesting objects, there are still people involved. So it is still a specific person manifestation. So give yourself that confidence, right, bro? Highlight it. I just look down and see this. Prayers to be successful must be claiming rather than begging. Like even Reverend Ike said that too. So if you pray for riches, turn from your picture of poverty by denying the very evidence of your senses and assume the nature of being wealthy. We are told, when you pray, go within secret and shut the door. And that which your Father sees in secret, with that he will reward you openly. So the more you are sold on your mind alone in your innermost, that's what you will receive in the outermost. Even Reverend Ike said it. He goes, we don't pray begging for something. And it was like, God don't like beggars. And then like Reverend Ike said, he goes, you get so many people too. They're like, oh Lord, I'm not worthy. Well, by that, you just negated the entire prayer. Like the prayer is shit because you said, I'm not worthy. So why would he give you something you're not worthy of? Because he thinks you might not want it, right? But claiming it rather than begging it. What was the other chapter I was reading? Gratitude. Pray as though you have received it, it shall be yours. That's a good point. Someone is involved in every manifestation. Exactly. See, that's what I said. Peter Dinklage has a really inspiring speech on how he decided that he was going to get cast in major movies and as a star, not a supporting character. That is 100% a Hollywood manifest. Yeah, Courtney. Before I was even a coach, before I met Lily, before I went through the other heartbreak, before I tore my chest, this is probably when I'm 19, 20 years old. I listened to that Peter Dinklage speech every day for years while I warmed up in the gym. Every day I heard that Peter Dinklage speech. Here's another thing I got highlighted from Neville. The signs always follow, they never proceed. Things have no reality other than in consciousness. Therefore, get the consciousness first, and the thing is compelled to appear. You are told, Bible quote here, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things shall be added unto you. So look for it in your mind, and it shall be given to you. Get the first consciousness of the things you are get first the consciousness of the things you are seeking, and leave the things alone. There's nothing you need to do. It's just get the consciousness, feel it's already done, and it shall be. You're expecting. What have I been talking about this past week? Expect, not fear. Expect an excitement, not fear and dread what might come. You're looking for the best outcomes. Apply this principle, and you will know what is to prove to me and see. So, Stallone had little experience as an actor, right? I forgot his story. He was broke for the casting of Rocky, I think. Yes, Stallone was broke during the casting of Rocky, and this is one of my favorite stories because I used to listen to this every day too. Arnold prefaced him for a speech. This was another acting one I would listen to every day. Was Stallone was failing as an actor from like 19, 20 years old all the way up to the time of his early 30s. He did do roles, but it was kind of like stuff I was getting where it was like independent, small things. If he got a big role, he was, if he had a bigger role, it was like a thug or somebody who was just getting beat up or like a bad character. He had one of his bigger things, I think, was that Lords of Flatbush movie before Rocky, where he was with Henry Winkler, and it's like a big opportunity, but then nothing really came of it for him. When he wanted to get an agent, I remember Tony Robbins telling this story about Stallone. Stallone wanted to get an agent, and he went to 1,500 agents, he said, and Tony Robbins was like, New York doesn't have 1,500 agents. There's only like a third of that. He goes, yeah, I went to each one 2-3 times. He slept on the guy's couch in the lobby and refused to leave until the guy showed up the next morning, and the guy's like, fine, you know what, I'll give you something. And gave him some role. And then when he got Rocky, it's like, he said he was just looking for inspiration. He said when he realized he couldn't get cast in anything, he goes, maybe I'll write a role. We went to the library because he was so broke, there was no heat at his house. He went to the library to stay warm, found the Edgar Allan Poe book, which this was funny too, because I didn't start reading Poe because of Stallone. My grandma was into Edgar Allan Poe, and I liked them too, so I started reading Edgar Allan Poe, so like we both like that. I like to write from an early age. Stallone taught himself to write because of that. So then he was like practicing writing. He said he worked at a movie theater and he would watch movies and then he would go back and maybe rewrite scenes and stuff like that and practice his writing. And when like he wasn't with his wife anymore, I think she left him because of all this, like his first wife. And then he decided, since he's stuck in a little apartment with like nothing, he just took out a pad of paper and he started writing and stuff like that. Then he saw a fight, and that fight motivated him so much. I think it was like the Chuck Webner fight, and he wrote the entire thing of Rocky within 24 hours or 2 days or something. He just sat down on a writing frenzy, kept writing. Tried to submit it. There was a whole bunch of redos, and then there's like, we don't want you in the movie. They offered him like $300,000 in the 70s to fuck off and just give us the script. But his stipulation was, you get no movie unless I am the character. So late in the end, they only gave him like a fraction of the money. I think it was like $30,000 or something like that, or $50,000 to be in the movie as the star, and he got points in the movie. So he makes all his money off the royalty. But he wound up, we're doing the movie for next to nothing. Then the first thing he did was go back and buy his dog back he had to sell his dog. He went and bought his dog back from the guy. It cost him like $15,000, and the guy got to have a bit part in Rocky. So through his whole thing, like, I mean, it was like constantly struggling, but he goes, I wasn't taking no for an answer. I was going to be this character. And he trusted the script was good enough that no matter what, they were going to buy it, and they did. Yeah, exactly. She said, I'm from Philly, and he was when he was down and out. So, man, that was like an intense live so far. Man, it's an hour and 23 minutes, and I've just been going. We're hitting stuff from the Bible, stuff from Neville, stuff from my life, stuff from everyone else's life. We're talking about Stallone and Arnold, and there's still a part of me that likes to entertain, even though we're doing serious stuff here. But life is fun. but as the cigar draws to an end, so thus our revels end today. I hope that you guys got something valuable out of this. If you got any more questions, drop them down below. Like I said, the Discord, I'm trying to set up a thing. Well, I'm not trying to. I already set it up before I even started the live. There's a networking event on there now, so it's like find people with the same hobbies and passions as you to talk about manifesting. There's not a ton of us on the Discord right now, but if you guys want to join, it's a nice thing. You can get access to me. I'm on it whenever there's a question. I answer it immediately. June 23rd, it's a Sunday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to do a seminar. Send me an email, mysticmanifesting@gmail.com if you're interested in that. It's $85. If you want coaching, the Calendly is underneath every video, or email me and we'll set up a coaching session. If you want the monthly coaching, I still have the 4 spots open. That's $1,500 a month, and we meet twice a week for an hour each session. And you have my phone number, so if you have something going on, you send me a message, and I get back usually pretty fast. Yes, sir, there is a Discord. It's linked in the bottom of all the videos. So go to one of the videos and click it. If you don't see it, comment on a video or this video or this live when I have it re-uploaded, and I will send the link there. And you know what? I'll just make a community post about it too. I'll make another community post about all this, because as we draw closer, I don't want to be a guy who's trying to sell something because it's contradictory to manifesting. But it's like, if I don't know why, maybe it's limiting belief, but I feel like YouTube does not show the community posts and all the videos to everybody, because otherwise we'd be getting 1,300 views per video. So I don't know why the algorithm works like that, but it's something I've always expected. So maybe that's something to change, but I'll keep posting it so everyone could see it. But as always, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you got some value out of this. As long as there's no more questions, I guess we'll close it out. Sorry, I got distracted. The cicada attacked my screen. But as always, I love you guys very much. Nothing is impossible. You got this. If I can do it, you can do it. You can't fuck this up, and it's all working out in your favor. I got some videos to record now. We'll have some videos up. If you guys want to look at the TikTok, we got the TikTok videos. I try to make them shorter. I might just start recycling those onto here. They're not all shorts. They might be a couple minutes long, but they're excerpts from the long videos I make. So if you guys need a quick reminder, maybe I'll start doing that too. I'll make a poll. But thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you, John. I see right there. Thank you for the great live. Thank you for being here. Love you guys very much, and we'll see you in the next one. If you need anything, mysticmanifesting@gmail.com. We'll set up sessions or whatever you want to do. Comment anything if you got questions. If you want to join the Discord, that's around. So there's ways to contact me. I remember I try to make it very accessible, because I remember when I was looking for help and stuff, sometimes it was hard to find where to contact people. Flex_Lassiter if you want to follow me on Instagram. I haven't posted in a while, but start posting again. Have a great day and an even better week. You as well, Mitzi. Everybody have a great day and fantastic week. And I'll see you next Monday. Be on the lookout, because, I keep saying it, and eventually it's going to speak into existence. There might be more lives throughout the week, but I can't make you that promise. Maybe somebody manifests me having some inspired action to do it and get off my lazy ass after the gym and do it. And if you're still here, July 20th, Los Angeles, I'll make a post on it too. If you could get out to LA or you're from LA, I'm going to do that bodybuilding show. I'm going to lose these last 20 pounds and do it in 47 days. It's going to be a challenge, but I feel myself walking on that stage. That'll be a success story in itself. But love you guys. See you in the next one.